Peace and love. Let me center myself. Peace and love, beloved. Thank you, guys. The confines of their organized religion, and also those people that are quarantined or COVID woke. You have 7 years or less on your spiritual path. You don't have a spiritual system or foundation, or you haven't been initiating it to any particular order if you do not have a teacher. I'm going to talk in the range of these particular people. We can go beyond that, but I need you to start tapping the screen. Once we get up to 5K likes, I began taking questions in the comments section. Until then, I will be in monologue and discussing what's coming across the Ethernet or the psychic transmissions that I'm most sensitive to. I will touch on those particular topics and things that are primarily affecting us in the now continuum. All right. Shouts out to the 1089 tech community and the AAA Academy, all of my students, and to the new initiates. Salute to you. Salute your altars, and salute to your dearly departed and your ancestors in this great day and time called Noon Tare. All right. Let's get the like button going, and we will begin. I can feel a sneeze coming on. Whew. Let everybody know I'm on TikTok. Shouts out to everybody on the TikTok that's been supporting the Noon OrgoniteTEK platform. Do appreciate it. Oh, here come my people. People coming on into the room. Don't be scared. Come on in. Just put this post in the community room. Please do not come in here promoting stuff in the comments section. Please don't do that. Y'all know they want to get rid of my lives. And shouts out to everybody that's been reposting and sharing the videos. I humbly appreciate it. Big Al in the building. Shouts out to Big Al. How you doing, beloved? Rhino Satchel. I guess. The greatest vibe. Majin Mu. What's up, Majin Mu? How you doing, beloved? Oh man, I know who that is. How you doing, beloved? Good to see you. Good to see you. Claude, everybody else that then popped up in the building. Shouts out to you guys. I know that it's 12/12, and a lot of people talk about the 12/12 portals, all these different portals. And on our community page, we talked about how the grimoire has affected people in one way or another, especially when they start talking about portals and 12/12 portals and all of this stuff. People it's a bunch of conjecture behind, these buzzwords and these conjecturized ideologies that people haphazardly adopt, unwittingly adopt. Let's put it that way. All right. And I'm not shooting no shots at nobody. It's just I'm just going off of what I see, what I'm able to assess in this great day and time. All right. I see Nikki in the building, Carlos, Abdul Wahid. You need a car. Z Easy 77. Y'all tap that screen for me. Tap the screen. F Nitty in the building, Mother Edinburgh, 1089 community. I send the bat signal out. My beloved brother Rico Rodriguez. Oh yeah, we gonna get it in today, y'all. We gonna get it in. Because when you start talking about these portals, they say we in the 12/12 portal, right? This is the month of December. And they call it the 12th month, but it's the 10th month. December is the 10th month. The Latin word for deca in Latin is 10. Novi, November, that's 9. October, oct, that's 8. September, sept, that's 7. Right? But they call it the 9th month. Somebody playing with your time. And if you're not aware of that, you're going to become binded and bound to the tetragrammatron of the Dajjal, the Cabal, the Luciferians, and they're going to hypnotize you. The spell of Leviathan. Right? The spell of Leviathan. And they have a litany of minions that work on their behalf. Many of them are in the entertainment industry. And I told a lot of you guys from the beginning of this year and from the beginning of last year, right? According to the Gregorian calendar, that dark stuff got to go. We're dispelling the darkness from the physical landscape, right? And there are communities out there that are doing it. And we're getting rid of the darkness. It has to be dispelled. It has to. The truth must be revealed. The wickedness is being done behind closed doors, curtains, and in the shadows. We're unveiling a black light upon it. If you know anything about a black light reveals what is hidden. You know how the homicide detective comes through and looks for where the blood's been wiped up or any other type of semen or sweat or anything of that nature. It's going to unveil it. And that's what's going on with the divinity that's being ushered into this realm. It's doing that, right? And there's a lot of people out here that are dark practitioners. I'm telling you, I've been getting the calls from people like, hey man, something dark has been jumping on me. I'm getting attacked, right? Too many attacks that's taking place on people. Too many people are becoming victimized by people that are dark practitioners, right? The minions of the Luciferians and the Baphomet, those that deal with pentagrams in hexagrams in the tetragrammatron, which is a synthetic binding mechanism that's layered over the grid of this reality, right? And I dropped that in detail. You had to join our community because TikTok does not like me to talk about that stuff. They always suspend my live when I start going in on the Dajjal and talking about the malefic things that they are exacting and the agendas that they're exercising upon the people at large, right? But someone has to talk about it. And I like to talk about things when I'm in monologue that are relevant to the here and now. I don't like to go take you down a long path of a history lesson. That's not going to help you pay your light bill today. You know what I'm saying? That car note and everything else that we have to pay, it's dealing with the now. So if it's not as relevant to the present, it's a great chance, a great probability that you're being distracted or detracted from engaging the current timeline and live stream that you're presently participating in, right? So I bring these things up, a lot of the different topics, especially dealing with the children, right? Because that's who the Dajjal want. They want innocent children. They want the pure ones. They don't want the ones that they know that they can have. The ones that's willing to do whatever they say. They don't care about them. They want the ones that they can't have, right? And a lot of people prioritize serving the Dajjal. And some of you are flattered by the stratagems of the Dajjal. And some of you know that you're dealing with something wicked, and you still do it and attempt to make up an excuse as to why you're doing it. And that don't make it right. You hear me? Like the people from the reckoning of Sean Combs, the Netflix thing. I know that's very big on people's timeline. It's talking about P. Diddy, right? The Diddler. And all of those people that had something bad to say about it, but y'all went on ahead and accepted it. And your excuse was, hey, I gotta eat. I gotta survive. Hey, you could work at Chick-fil-A, you could work anywhere. You don't have to be doing that stuff. Y'all too worried about what other people are going to think about you. We're too infatuated with being accepted, which I told you guys last time I was on here. That's a very low vibration. Only thing that you need to learn to accept is you, right? Accept yourself and walk in your own authenticity. Stop trying to get other people's approval and learn who it is that you are. And many people always ask, y'all know some of my most frequently asked questions is, what book should I be reading? And I say the same things every time. You said, I mean, P. Yeah, they castigating the shit out of P. Diddy. But we all forgot about Jeffrey Epstein, who serves the cabal. He works for the shadow government that's controlling your country and your banking system. Everybody just got amnesia about him and the litany of children that he had at his parties. Because I'm almost sure that P. Diddy on that flight list, along with a litany of other people. I'm sure they on there. They don't want to show y'all that, but of course they're going to smear the brother, not to say that what he did was right or any of that stuff, for the people that he victimized. But I must say, for all of you grown adults, those that were victimized, allegedly, you knew what you was getting into, and you didn't press them charges right after it happened. That's why that man didn't get no charges. You know what I mean? Because you was too worried about getting some shekels. You sold your soul. You can't sell your soul and then back out of selling your soul. You can't do that. You follow? You really can't. Now, if you're underage, that's a different story. You can't really defend yourself. You can't even articulate yourself correctly if you're a child or a minor and you end up being victimized or essayed by someone of that stature. And the accusations that had to be true about Jeffrey Epstein and Jelsine Maxwell, which they kind of shadow banned all of that from these social media sites. People talk about it sparingly. But when it came to P. Diddy, they poured it on thick, like he did with that baby oil on on the, on the people. Y'all poured it on extra thick when it came to him, you know. But y'all need to get some of the DeJour too. Some of these baloney men need to be exposed as well, right? For the people that they've been victimizing. You know, shouts out to Macaulay Culkin and Drew Barrymore, you know, the girl from Poltergeist who didn't even make it to be an adult, you know, and the litany of others, the whole crew of Nickelodeon. None of this stuff gets highlighted. None of it gets accented. Shouts out to Orlando Brown. They put this stuff out there and tell y'all like, oh man, this dude is nuts. Everybody is crazy and y'all got all these jokes. I'm talking about the trolls until it happened to you or one of your children or somebody that you love. Then you're going to want everybody to take it serious, right? You can't have fair weather empathy. I'm just saying that we moving into a new paradigm. It's a whole new paradigm. I've been telling y'all that the last 2 years. We in a whole new paradigm. So after I purchase Organite medallion for entry into the community, do I DM you receipt? Yeah, well, when you purchase something off the website, just leave your phone number and I'll give you a call. I'm not going to call you while I'm on the live, but when I come off the live, you know, I'll talk to you for at least an hour, right? And we have a Q&A. I want you to get to know me. Everybody in the community, they all get the same treatment. Everybody get to build with me. And, you know, I do readings as well. When I do readings, you don't got a cam up, but you do have to get me on cam when I do readings on people. I do it right in front of you in real time. You know, I do my best to be as transparent with my communications with people as possible. Yeah, you're welcome, Riff. We look forward to seeing you. You know, get a subscriber pass, join the Adept Chamber, and don't miss any of the content that we disseminate across the 1089 platform. I want to say that today's class was about 4 hours. Yesterday, we went to about 1 in the morning. And this is not on TikTok, you guys. I can't be on TikTok with how deep it goes, how deep the rabbit hole goes. I'll take you through Wonderland like Alice. And we're going to see how far we can get today on TikTok without them, you know, banning the live. We're going to do our best. Thank you. Ragu L up in the building. What's up, Ragu? Who bad? Yeah, we over 5K likes right now. If you guys got any questions, like the brother Rip had a question, go ahead. There's no question too stupid or too small, as long as you're not trolling. Right? That I gave up on the rabbit hole. It's too much. Hey, man. If you're scared, go to church. Ask Jesus to save you. Right? Shouts out to Joe, Connecticut. Shouts out to you. There go my beloved brother Ray. What's up, Ray? The Rays have it. Right? Yeah, but it's a lot of beings. I've been telling y'all since day one that I've been on here. I told y'all that I'm here for those people that are new, those people that are innocent, that's really before you get victimized. I already got several people in my community that have been victimized by dark practitioners, right? And it wasn't like they knew that the person was a practitioner of dark forces, malefic forces. You know, they don't never come trying to show you that they dark. They're going to come appeasing to they just restricted my live. Misinformation. There we go. They already started. They didn't already started. I've been flagged. Hey, man, what can I say, you guys? What can I say? What can I say? That's how they do me. That's how they do. That's why y'all got to join the community. All you got to do is go to the website. Talking about I'm spreading misinformation. All you got to do is go to the website, beloved. That's it. There was a man in Detroit, Michigan, an East Indian man. That's right. Thank you, Ray. Y'all click that bell. Click the notification bell. They didn't flag my live for misinformation and said they're not going to allow this live to show up in people's news feeds. They do that every time I come on here. They do not like me on here. And I'm telling y'all, they start messing with me in my real life too. They just don't be messing with me on here. So for all y'all people that be scrolling by like, this nigga just saying that shit. Okay. Try to walk with Dr. Ray and see how easy it is. And you will see in real time for yourself. Like, oh shit. Why some feel like somebody is fucking with me? I feel like I'm being gang stalked. Right? That's what ends up happening when you draw a line in the sand against the Luciferians. They didn't came to me. They didn't try to get me to sell y'all out. I'm telling you, I'm just keeping it 10K with you. And it's not working. They didn't even came up with an AI generated version of me to try to negate people. And a lot of people end up following the little chat bot. Y'all better wake up. Y'all need to wake up. They convicted the doctor, and that been happened. But they caught this doctor out of Detroit, Michigan, where I'm from. Shouts out to the 313. What up, though? I want to say he was an Indian doctor, and they caught him with they charged him. They gave him like 40 years. He'd been giving people cancer, telling them that they had cancer and they didn't. And over 550 deaths, right? And this is not misinformation, TikTok. This is documented in the U.S. Department of Justice. Over 550 people. He gave their ass cancer, told them that they had cancer and they didn't have it. Then he gave them radiation and unalived them. And he profited from Medicare over $17 million. That never made national news. So think about that. For all my people out there that say that they got cancer, you feel fine as everything. All of a sudden you go to the doctor, oh yeah, you got stage 4 cancer. Damn, for real? I didn't know I had cancer. You might have had a gallbladder. I mean, a gallstone or something like that. You might have had a kidney infection, but they turn around and tell you that it's cancer and start putting you on chemotherapy, start putting you in dialysis. And that's what kill you. You hear me? They unaliving people. And that's no secret. From the last little pandemic, which we'll go through the Pan again. I told y'all, Pan is a centaur, half goat, half human. That's how they get down. They half goat and half human. What's one of the main buzzwords that the youngest use today? Oh, that's the goat. That's the goat. Pan and hit them with that flute. Nickelodeon, Saint Nick. You see that? Dealing with the nickel, which Pan's flute. He got a wooden flute and he got a nickel-made flute that's hypnotizing people like a dog whistle. Listen to me. See what happened when you blow a dog whistle? You can't hear the whistle, but that dog can. They got the same thing for your children. And that don't matter what color you are. You black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. Or if your name Fife Dog from the Zulu Nation. They blow that little whistle and it got your child hypnotized. Right? And they operate on the 6. They beseech you on the 5, and they got you thinking in 2s, and they trap you in 3 in the 3rd dimension. Because I told you guys before, they didn't already pretty much optimize the moves that you can make in this social engineering program that you've been conditioned to accept as reality. You spend 15 years of your life working. You spend another 15 years watching television. You spend 24 years in the bathroom. And you spend 12 years scrolling on your cell phone. Let's get those likes up, you guys. Let's get up to 50K likes so I can pull this whiteboard out and illustrate to you exactly what I'm talking about. Because you got to get this stuff so you can escape the terror matrix, right? I want you to be able to escape the terror matrix. I'm like Neo in the matrix. I'm going to show you what they don't want you to see. And they're going to do everything in their power to stop this live. That in itself is a subtle omission that, yo, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Rather you decide to have an ear to it, that's on you. But like all my students know, I tell everybody, you can act like you ain't heard me or you forgot what I said, but don't say that you have not been told. That's my number one saying. Don't say you haven't been told when the great and dreadful day of the Lord beseeches you. Don't say that. Don't say it. But then it took those 4 moves, 15 years of working, 15 years of being entertained, whether that's through sports, concerts, and movies and television shows. Spend 15 years watching television. Your average United States citizen, right? 24 years in the bathroom. 1 + 5 is 6. 1 + 5 is 6, right? To 18 years in school. No, you just get out of school when you're 18, Riff. Not in case you go to college, not in case you talking about college. If you're saying college, then I could see that. And 6 times 3 is 18. So that's 666. And that's not misinformation, TikTok. So unrestrict my live. And so people can see this live. With 15 years of working, they sell you 40 years, but if you deduce down the work hours, it's 15 years. 1 + 5 is 6. 15 years of television and entertainment, sports, concerts, and binge watching TV shows. 1 + 5 is 6. 24 years in the bathroom. 2 + 4 is 6. There goes 666 right there. You spend 12 years scrolling on your cell phone. That's 6 + 6 = 12. And if you add all those years together, it'll give you 66. Right? 606 scores of 66. It show you that right in the Bible. Right? And these beings make they are not ashamed to tell you that they serve Satan. They don't say that they serve Satan. They say that they're the children of Satan. And nobody can do anything to them. They have immunity to being convicted for being their natural, malefic, malevolent, devilish selves. Right? And all the world is waiting for everybody to point the finger at the same beings and say, that's the bad guy. And then what you refer to as God or supreme being will intercede on your behalf, and we can show unification and draw a line in the sand against these malefic forces. I don't care if you're a white man from Denver, Colorado. I don't care if you're an Asian man that came up in Sucker Free City, San Francisco. I don't give a damn if you're a Mexican brother from Arizona, from Tempe, Arizona, right? I don't care if you're a brother that came up in the, in the east side of Decatur or Stone Mountain or Lathone. I don't give a damn if you're a Puerto Rican man that came up in the Bronx or a woman, right? Or if you're a Chaldean or Iranian that came up in Dearborn, Michigan. Wherever you came from, if you were born here, I'm talking to you. I don't care about what color you are. And because the children are being victimized, they're not thinking about what color they are. They got to be trained and conditioned to be programmed to think that they're separate. When gravity has the effect on everyone I aforementioned. And regardless if you can accept it or not, at best, you got 100 years on this landscape. I don't care if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're a good person, if you're an evil person, right? If you harm people, if you don't harm people, if you have a high status in society or a low status in society, at best, you got 100 years. And like one of the ancient axioms from antiquity always says, spend every day of your life preparing for the afterlife. For then you'll gain the keys to eternal life. You follow? Only then will you gain the keys to eternal life. And I don't care what nobody say. You're going to end up having to check up out of here. Are you prepared? I'm not talking about your life insurance policy. I'm talking about after you leave up out of this, out of that body. Are you prepared for what's next? Have you activated your higher senses so that your consciousness could register in the spiritual dimension? Or will you have to return here and wait in the long ass Six Flags line to incarnate into somebody's bloodline? And hopefully you've done enough to come back through the custodial line that you already came to. So what do we got to do to prepare? That's an excellent question. Dajal? Dajal? That's an excellent question. What you have to do to prepare is another one of the axioms from antiquity, which is know thyself. That's the first axiom. The second is spend every day of your life preparing for the afterlife. The third, pour your libations to those that have preceded you in death, right? In the Valley of the Kings or in your proverbial cemeteries or grave sites and or, into the earth. Because the earth receives all libations and offerings. It keeps a receipt. It keeps a receipt. And you have to activate who you are spiritually. Because you can't exist in a dimension if your consciousness cannot register there, right? And you get to practice that every PM when you go to what you refer to as sleep or rest, and go into what you refer to also as the dream realm. You say, how do we do that, bro? I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, right? You got to know who you are. And the way that you do that is by figuring out who you are not. You hear me? You got to activate, or you have to operate from who you are spiritually. Because it's the great Wayne Dwyer, which a lot of people use. They use that phrase that he came up with, but they never cite the source. Many of them don't even know it. But shouts out to Wayne Dwyer, may the ancestors be with him. And what he says is, you're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And many people are not aware that they are actual spirit. They think that a spirit is something that is outside of them. They don't actually know that they are that. Your spirit, which you are, is the volume that occupies the container. You follow? You occupy the container and give that container volume with the substance of your essence. And this is something that I subtly walk my students through step by step. So we don't take things out of context and start getting all supernatural. And as my beloved brother Huey McCutcheon says, start Sufiing out. A lot of people get all spooky and supernatural about things when we need to take a practical approach, right? And start to connect to our oversoul. because you will receive the transmissions that you're incapable of capitulating via your own oversoul, right? Which sits above the higher dantian of the brow chakra and sits in the 13th chakra. And it's picking up on the transmissions that's coming from the galactical core of your galaxy called your Milky Way. And it's relaying those transmissions into the psychic center of the third eye. But many people are not adept to pick up on those transmissions. And when they do, they give it to some unforeseen, invisible spook, egregor, or trickster being that they refer to as something that they don't even understand, i.e. the word God. They'll say that it's Jesus or spirit guide, and they have no way to validate that. Actually, it's coming from your own divinity. But we've been so disconnected from who we are spiritually because we've been disconnected to who we are physically. You follow? And that's essential. You got a certain amount of time to make that connection while you're here in the flesh. And as I always say, you actually spend more time in the spiritual universe than you spend in the physical universe while you're contractually obligated to function in this human vehicle that you call your body. You know, because 5 minutes in the physical world is equivalent to 5 hours in the spiritual universe. And this is why many of you can't remember your dreams, or for those that can remember their dreams, it starts slipping away as you come into your awakened consciousness, because that file is a little bit too large. It ain't a little bit, it's way too large for you to upload into your awakened consciousness. You know, to put it in the allegory form that you could understand. You said I don't know what that means. Put in a form that you can understand. It's like you have a 500 gig hard drive, but the file from your dream from last night might be about 20,000 terabytes. And it's just incapable of storing data that vast. You follow? Say, where you been? I miss you. Yo, okay, that's what that means. I didn't know the acronym that you put up there. Yeah, I'm here, man. I just don't be on TikTok. They always restricting my lives. I was on here the other day. They restricted my live. They don't want people to see this. You need to come join the community. I'll be telling y'all, shouts out to everybody that then joined the community so far. Right? You want to get it unadulterated, y'all need to come join me on the tech space. Right? All you got to do is purchase something. Link in the bio. Purchase an OrgoniteTEK, like the one I got around my neck. That got 33 crystals in this. Right? But yeah, when you wake up in the AM, that file from last night's dream is about 20,000 terabytes. And your awakened consciousness hard drive only can store about 500 gigs of data. It's an incalculable amount of data for you to process. So it just picks up brief highlights of things that would serve you in your awakened realm when you awaken. And those are just small fragments of what occurred while you were in the dream realm. Because in the 8 hours of rest is the equivalent of 3 months of living in the awakened realm. And we'll get through all of that. I'm going to get up on the board and illustrate it for you guys. I need you to tap the screen. I thank you guys for being here. I'll give a couple of shots out while you guys do that. You know, shouts out to Woke, Ahmed, Elawadi. Who else we got in here? Riff. I gave a shout out to Riff, but shouts out to Riff again. My beloved brother Ragu L. Dajal the way. Dajal, I hope I answered your question. You know, my beloved brother Jonas. One of my pupils, Kathy Young. Who else we got in here? World New York Star. Thank you, World New York Star. This staff is powerful. Y'all need to join us in Atlanta, Georgia. We coming to Atlanta, y'all. One more time. We coming to Atlanta for y'all. All y'all people, hey, when you coming back to Atlanta? I came to Atlanta 7 times in a row. 7 times in a row. Y'all missed it, man. Y'all missed it. But we're gonna come back again in March. But we got to come back to Texas. You know, and all y'all people in Texas, y'all been missing it in Texas. Tell you, I'm gonna go out there to Arizona. Shouts out to my Pale brothers and sisters. They show up. They show up. Terry, what's up, Terry? I see you, Terry. She the Conjurer. Shouts out to you. Thank you for coming into the live, beloved. I appreciate it. The Jaw said I'm in South Georgia. Yeah, man, we need you to come on up, man. Come on up to Atlanta. Come check us out. You know, like my beloved brother Ragu. Ragu show up and show out all the time. You know, I got people been rocking with me for years now since I've been on TikTok. You know, I want people to get to know me in real time, not just through this screen. So you can separate the real from the fake. You know, some people want to keep you on the other end of that screen. I don't. I want to see you in real time and embrace you, you know, and give you a divine hug. You hear me? So you can feel my energy and smell that Baruti oil on me and see that I'm a real person, right? And come get hit with this Baruti staff. I get them chakras spinning in the right direction and start opening up the portals in your consciousness the same way that there's a portal that's open right now. They're calling it the 1212 portal. But how you going to say that it's 1212 and they call December the 12th month when December literally means the number 10, right? It's the number 10, but you're calling it 12. That's a spell. That's a spell. And then when December the 31st comes, you're counting down for the year to go up. That's alchemy being used against you. And then they put it broadcasted across the television, and they put it where? In Times Square. They put time in the square. They tell you that's a square, but a square is a 2-dimensional shape. I told you they trap you in 3 dimensions by getting you to operate in 2 dimensions. I'll say that one more time. They trap you in 3 dimensions by getting you to operate in 2 dimensions. What does that look like? What does that look like? That's right, Ragu. They box you in. You got you boxed in like them presents y'all got up under that Christmas tree. You follow? And you're never present. You're never present. And until you turn on your spiritual gifts, that's right, step by step. Shouts out to step by step. Y'all connecting the dots. They got you thinking in 2 dimensions and tell you time is in a square. But then they show you a watch or a clock with a circle. No. Most of these children today don't even know how to read time if it's not the actual numbers. They don't know how to read the hands on the clock. I've seen it happen in real time. Pun intended. Little boy is like, hey, excuse me, sir, can you tell me what time it is? And I had my watch on this day and I showed it to him. He said, I can't read that. I said, I don't know what time it is then. And just walked away from his ass. I know he was like, you asshole. But you too damn old not to know how to read the hands on the clock. Telling y'all, they dumbing down this society. And my mama said it best. May the ancestors be with her. She said, Baba, this next generation, this next generation of children gonna hand their life over to the Terminator. My mama was saying that 15 years before she passed. She said they gonna just hand their life over to the Terminator. And she ain't lying. right? Let me go ahead and pull this board out, man. Let's get in. Let's get it in as far as we can before they go ahead and get rid of the live. Let's pray to the ancestors, block that. That they block the live from being blocked, right? For those that follow this platform, you know I like to get up on the board and I'm gonna illustrate it to y'all. Woo, we was going in today. Shouts out to the 1089 tech community. You know, y'all got to get this stuff, man. And if you was on here last time, we had a very powerful live. And the live before that was very powerful, right? Where we was at, we talking about time, right? And what do they call the smallest unit of time, somebody? Not nobody from the community. Well, I don't care. Somebody from the community could go ahead and tell them too. What do they call the smallest unit of time, you guys? That's right, Ragu. A second. Smallest unit of time. They refer to that as a second. They call it a second. You see that? But how you going to have a second before you have a first? And before a first, you got to have zero. Right? It's called 0 point time reference. And then when they show you a clock, forgive my circle. Let's just see what time it is right now. It's 7:54. They put the little hands on the clock like that. Right? Right? 7:54. Then they got the clock that represent the seconds. See that? This is a circle, which is a two-dimensional shape. And they're using it to equate time based on a three-dimensional shape, which is a sphere. So two different things, right? You see that? Y'all walking with me so far? So they tell you that the smallest unit of time is a second. But how you going to have a second before you have a first? And they tell you that it's 60 seconds that equate to a minute. A minute. Look up that word, minute. Minute means smallest, right? But how is the minute larger than a second when it's smaller than a second? Right? You see where we going here? So when they tell you 60 seconds, the way that your subconscious mind records that is like this. 60 second, right? Or 60 seconds, because it's a compound of 1 second accumulated up to 60 seconds. But they tell you that it's 60 seconds that equal a minute. But the second it gets to 59, right? Even on the hand clock, which they're showing you in 2 dimensions. Tell me if I'm going too fast now. Tell me if I'm going too fast for y'all, right? Because you look on, remember we used to go to school, you used to couldn't wait to 3 o'clock so you can get out of school? That was a 2-dimensional shape that you was looking at that was based on a 3-dimension. The time that it was accumulating was based on 3 dimensions, but they showed it to you in 2 dimensions. And they told you that it's 60 seconds in a minute, and after the 59th second, it start over at 0 again, and then it go to 0, 1, 0, 2. Right? See the 0? You see that? 0, 1, 0, 2. 0, first, second. But they tell you about the second, and they never tell you about the first. They never tell you about the 0. You hear me? And then they tell you that it's 60 seconds in a minute. But after the 59th second, they start at 0. They don't tell you about the 60th. They don't tell you about the 61st. And they don't accumulate the 62nd. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 minute particles of time, which you call a second, which is really a first, that's not being accumulated for. And that's 4 seconds missing. And that's man-made time. That's not natural time. That is not natural time. Anywhere where you see a digital clock, that is man-made. Anywhere where you see a tick and a tock, and we hear on TikTok, pun intended, the tick and the tock, there's a space in between that tick and that tock. And that space between the tick and the tock is a rest, right? It's tick, tock, and that space in between it, which is called the rest, right? And that's not never accumulating. It's only one type of time mechanism that accumulates that time, and they call that the Rolex. And the Rolex watch moves what? Perpetually. It doesn't rest. It keeps going. That's why that watch costs so much money. Because the people that own one, they're putting themselves on a natural rhythm of time. Time is constant. You follow? It doesn't rest. There is no tick and tock. There is no space. There is no rest. And in between that, you got about 4 seconds that's missing from time. And let me find my notes, because we went over this earlier in the 1089 tech community. Y'all need to join the community. Link is in the bio. Link is in the bio. All you got to do is purchase a medallion. Purchase a small one. Purchase a, what they call them things, a pop socket for your cell phone. You know, but they came up with this new way of doing time out of the Greenwich Meridian, right? They used the Greenwich Meridian, and this was in 1884, right? Greenwich Meridian. Oh, I always spell that wrong. I want to put witch, because witchcraft they doing on y'all ass. Greenwich Meridian. And that's where they developed the 0-point time reference, where they said all of the clocks of the world are operating on that time. So they basing the time off of that. And they operate on the 6. That's the number of the beast. You're dealing with a beast man, the behemoth, who subtly emits it by calling himself mankind, which is a kind of man. It's not an actual man. It's kind of a man. And they confess that when they faked their landing on the moon and said that this is just a small step for man, which is the 9 ether being to the 6 ether being. But it's a giant step for mankind. That was a subtle confession that you're dealing with a beast. And a lot of people refer to themselves as a beast. In Greenwich, or the Greenwich Meridian, is a borough of Greater London in southeast England. It sits on the Thames River, right? In southeast London. Don't believe me? You can look this stuff up. This is not misinformation, TikTok. Somebody stop reporting my lies and saying I'm spreading misinformation. Go tell your Luciferian lapdogs that, hey, man, he's calling me a liar because you a liar. It is here that the prime meridian, or longitude 0, was established in the year what? 1884. How many of you guys knew this? 1884 AD, right? So from 1884 up to now, which we'll do it like this, 2025, that's 1. Oh, excuse me, that's 0. Carry the 1, that's 4. Or really that's 3, because you got to borrow 1. And that's 2. And then that's 1. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 0. I can't make that up. So you got about 1,000, or excuse me, I'm saying that wrong. Is that from 100, 116 plus, get my math wrong, you guys, excuse me. 116 plus 25 will give you, yeah, forgive me, I'm not perfect. I never said I was. 141 years. For the past 141 years, the Greenwich Meridian 0-point time reference has been in effect. And since that time, it's been 4 seconds missing off of every minute. And it's been 4 seconds of every minute for every hour, right? 4 seconds for every minute, for every hour, for every day, for every week, for every month, for every year that has not been accounted for. And that time begins to accumulate. You follow? That time begins to accumulate. And then, listen, they tell you that how many hours are in the day? Anybody know? Somebody put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. How many hours are in a day? Thank you. Thank you, Viola. It's 12 hours in a day. But they'll turn around and tell you that it's what? 24 hours in a day when it's only 12. That's another spell. They got y'all. They accumulated in the 24 hours. Shouts out to the military. Because if you know military time, they tell you it's 0100, 0200, 0300, 0400, 0500, 0600, 0700. Right? 0800, 0900, 1000, 1100, 1200, 1300, 1400. Right? They don't say o'clock. When they put that o'clock on your ass, hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 12 and whatever else that shit say. They always put some nursery rhyme. That's a hypnotic spell that's being put on. Anytime they come with a nursery rhyme, it's nursing you, right? It's nursing your mind with the rhyme. And what happens is you're not accumulating the hundreds, right? You stopping at 59. So that time after that 59 is not being accumulated. They tell you it's 60 seconds, but you never get the 60 seconds. And a first predates a second. You see that? I don't know if y'all can see that because the thing, can y'all see that? Somebody put a 9 in there if y'all can see the second right there. Yeah, we get it. Right on. Thank you, Viola. Right? So they tell you that the second, and they disregard the first. They're not counting things in the first. Hold on, let me show them I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. I got a new phone on y'all ass. You ain't getting away with it this time. So the 0 point time reference don't go from 0 to first. It go from 0 to second. And the reason why they tell you second is because they wasn't here first. Right? They wasn't here first. That's why he was second. He has to tell you his story, what you call history. He can't tell you my story because it's a mystery. He got to tell you his story. He got to give you a second-hand account of what happened. He giving you a second-hand version of what he heard from you first. You gave a first-hand account. Don't you know how you want to get a first-hand account of a story instead of the second-hand account? Like, man, let me just go to the source and ask the original people and see what they said. And what happens is it takes you off of natural time. It takes you out of alignment with your time. And y'all looking to be accepted by his time. You looking to be accepted by the Dajjal. Many of you are flattered by the Dajjal, right? You put up them Christmas lights. You let your kids sit on some stranger's lap and take a picture, knowing that it's a lie. Knowing that it's a lie. You got to be under a spell to do that. And then on top of that, you attempt to make up an excuse as to why you're doing it. You're under a spell if you behave in that manner. Somebody has to tell you. Fuck P. Diddy. Fuck the Netflix thing and all of that shit. They want you to pay attention to that and not pay attention to this. Because then you would dismiss all of that and say, listen, I don't have the units of time to waste on that. I could put those units of time on who I am. You follow? We got any questions out there? Let's clear up that comment section and leave some room for people to ask questions. Anybody got some questions out there? I could feel it in the ether. Somebody got some questions. Let's get some questions, y'all. Come on. I don't need an amen committee. Let's open it up for the people that got some questions, because I know some of y'all never heard this before. Some of you have, but some of you haven't. Let's open it up. All right, come on. Let's fall back, Viola. You need to come into the 1089 tech community. You'd have been following me way too long to be taking up my comment section like that. Y'all respect the comment section and let some of these people, because they scared. They like, oh shit, I don't, and y'all not making it no better. Amen to me. I get it. But y'all need to join the tech community at this point. You said, what's going on 15? You said, I asked him what's going on 15. I don't know what that means. What's going on 15? I don't know what you're talking about. On December the 15th. I'm not concerned about December the 15th. I'm concerned about right now. On December the 18th, it's going to be a new moon. But outside of that, I'm not even concerned about the 15th. We living right now in December. I think it's the 11th or the 12th. It's the 12th. December the 12th. They calling this just the 12-12 portal, right? And they say the first 12 represents the 12th month, which they calling the 10th month. But people don't get that, right? They say the 12-12 portal. But where is this portal at? I don't see it nowhere. I don't see no portal. The portal is in your consciousness. And your consciousness is peering through your mind's eye into this external verse, which we call the outer verse, right? And it's able to have the discernment of what's being disseminated across these particular grids. And for those that have an ear, they'll hear what I'm saying. Or those that have the eyes to see, they'll see what I'm illustrating here before them, and the dots start to connect in your consciousness, right? And a new portal will begin to open up for real, but not in the context that they keep putting it out there. They put out way too much conjecture, too much conjecture being put out there, meaning that the information is incomplete. But you got 4 seconds of time that's been missing on every minute. You just got to ask the question, beloved. Ask the question. Ask the question. Double R, can you turn the AI thing on? We might need to turn the AI thing on because people not asking no questions. But for every minute of every hour of every day and shadow hour, there's 4 seconds missing. And that amount of time has coagulated into a mass of missing time. And people start saying, where did all of the time go? Man, the day's going by so fast. It's because more time is being abstracted. And the Dajjal cursed them, did this in order to give themselves more time. But all it did was make their time run out. And what the people here in the New World of North America are doing is giving them more time. Y'all keep resuscitating this bullshit. But it's pretty much the people that don't understand that they're doing it, or that are flattered by the Dajjal, or that accept the ways of the Dajjal. You know that it's evil, you know that they're doing wrong, but you make up an excuse as to why you align yourself with what they got going on without first breaking the spell and drawing a line in the sand. Oh, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my Medicaid. I'm going to lose my food stamps if I don't fall in the line with the devil. That means that you have not prioritized returning to the bosom of your creator. That should be priority number one, not the Dajjal and what it has to offer to you. But many are flattered by it, and they seek to be accepted. You know, she had to, let me get another mic. I think my mic is going dead. Oh, it's still staying on. Nope, it's going dead. Yeah, you got to check some of the old videos. You got to spell out what has been spelled into you because you grew up accepting the spell, right? We've been conditioned to accept the spell. It's encoded into your genetics at this point. And people think that it's a game until it's not a game, right? Till it's not a game. Let me charge this thing up. But you got to spell out the words that's been spelled in. And y'all got all of that? I'm gonna give y'all a second to go ahead and screenshot that. And I'm gonna take it down. Y'all go ahead and screenshot it. I'm gonna take it down. Get y'all off this man-made time. And start operating with the sun again, because we used to operate off the sundial. That's how you tell natural time is through the sun. Because it's based around the movement of the sun, which let me give y'all something else to screenshot. 23,895 miles to about 24,000 85 miles, right? That's a 5. That's not a 3, right? That's the earth inhaling and exhaling, or contracting, and I can't. I got my words all jumbled up. Contracting and expanding, in and out. So the diameter and the circumference of the planet is going in and out, like a mother does when she goes in labor, right? So your time is based on the diameter and circumference of your planet, right? Its whole, the whole shape of it. But it's based on how long it takes for the planet to spin on its axis as it goes around the sun, which it takes 365 days to make a complete rotation around the sun. Because your sun is 7.5 million times larger than your planet. And your planet is 7.5 million times larger than you are. So for all y'all flat earthers out there that say, oh, the earth is flat, you would not have a clue of how flat or how inflated the world is. Because again, to debunk the mythos of the earth being flat, in order for something to be flat, it would first have to be inflated. You know, like a tire or a basketball. You ever seen a flat basketball? It's still look inflated, don't it? Even though it's flat. You don't know that it's flat until you try to bounce that joint on the ground, or when you touch it, you be like, yo, hold on, this ball ain't got no air in it. Even when it start losing air, right? That's a flat circle. You got to put it on a flat surface in order for a circle, which is a two-dimensional shape, right? See that one next to it? That's a three-dimensional shape called a sphere. That's the difference. This is putting everything in its appropriate context. And for the brother that said, you know, how do we break the spell? This is how you break the spell. It's by putting stuff in its appropriate context. So people to tell you that the earth is flat, but no, a circle is flat because it's only two dimensions, right? The front side and the back side, which the back side is hidden from the face. But when you deal with a sphere, that's a three-dimensional shape. So y'all making three-dimensional decisions and perspectives, or perceiving things in 3 dimensions, but you're using 2 dimensions in order to measure the time on a 3-dimensional sphere, right? And you think that it's flat. That's the illusion that it creates when you're 7.5 million times smaller than the actual planet. The same way, listen, that in your macro form, what you call the Homo sapien, I don't care if you're a brand new baby that just came out your mother, or if you're 7 5'5", like Victor Wembanyama, right? Between that size and Wembanyama's height, you are 7.5 million times larger than a sperm cell. You can't even see a sperm cell with the physical eye. You literally need an instrument that you could put under a microscope in order to see the size that you started off as. Is this making sense to you guys? I hope you guys got this. You guys got all of this so far? So that we can go on to the next thing. Anybody got any questions? Any questions? Anybody got any questions? Let's get some questions out there. I want to hear from the people on the other side of the wall. Y'all need to come on over here. Because you got, at the same rate that you're monitoring me, you know, you're being possessed by a monitoring spirit. And you're operating in some form of fear. That's what your ego has been programmed and conditioned to accept, is fear. But at the same rate that you're monitoring me from the other side of this wall, do you got a question, Dizzy? Don't be afraid to ask the question. You had a question about the firmament? I've asked you that question several times. But at the same rate and capacity that you're monitoring me from the other side of this wall, there's something on the other side of your field of reality monitoring you at the same rate that you're on the other side monitoring me. Right? And it's waiting for you to make a decision not to come in here. And your decisions determine your destiny. And more than doers, we are deciders, right? And your decisions determine your destiny. And destiny is just the prefix to the word destination, right? And that will determine the destination that you end up on. So don't blow this window of opportunity to engage this platform, you know, because it's a litany of souls out there right now. Y'all be missing some very pertinent information. And I ain't talking about here on TikTok. I'm talking about offline. We got an offline community, you know, and not to mention the seminars too. There's certain stuff I can't talk about on here. They gonna block the live instantaneously. I done already been restricted, and they cited me for misinformation because I'm exposing the Luciferians. They're being exposed. You hear me? I rock with the Archangel Michael. We fighting against the Dajjal. We fighting against Tarnush. We fighting against Curse Them All, the Luciferians and the other lunatics. Yeah, all you gotta do is follow the link in my bio, right? He says stars are angels. No, stars are stars. Angels are angels. Those are two different words. A star is a sun, which is another, those two different words. You want to use a synonym use a synonym and it would be like a star or a sun. You know, an angel is synonymous with an angle, right? And the arc starts up in the highest end of the light spectrum, which you will refer to as the electromagnetic spectrum. To answer the brother question that says something about the firmament, all that's talking about is the different spheres. You got a biosphere, you got the atmosphere, you got the trisosphere, the magnetosphere, the ionosphere. That's all that is. That's the auric field of your planet. It's not some dome. Y'all picking up on stuff that was believed back in 55 AD when they established Christianity in Antioch, right? And during that time in Antioch, listen, most of the Proto-Indo-Euro society did not know how to read or write. This is why they had faith and belief. And things had to be capitulated to illiterate people. And they came up with their own conclusions. Let's not act like not even 500-600 years ago, they were saying that if you kept going west, you was going to fall off the end of the earth because it was flat. That was during Christopher Columbus' time. Let's not, that was 1492. Let's not, y'all got a little short memories. Enosites, forgetful beings. Right? Ice Wall, this is not Game of Thrones. That's a Game of Thrones theory. And a lot of that stuff that people are like, oh, look at the ice walls. Man, that's a Game of Thrones video game. That's what that is. It's the Game of Thrones video game. That's the only ice wall I really know. Right? Let's keep it 10K. I got to keep it 10K with y'all. You know, I'm going to keep my feet grounded in reality. Right? Because if that ice wall shit was real there, be happy CNN would be there. Please believe it. Michael Strahan and was Robin, they'll be doing Good Morning America with big ass bubble gooses on, sitting in some type of igloo, talking about, yeah, we live here at the ice wall. It was real. You know. But they operate. Y'all got all of that off the board? Y'all got that? I'm gonna go ahead and take this down. Leave a 9 in the comments if y'all got that. But I'm looking for questions in the comment sections. I don't need to I don't need to hear what you think you know. This is not a place for debate. I'm beyond debate. You know, I've been on this over 29 years, right? I didn't just start this. It didn't take COVID-19 for me to wake up. I didn't have to be quarantined and cooped into my house to start dealing with the levels of self-discovery that many people are just starting to become awakened to. When I came on my spiritual awakening, the internet was on a dial-up connection. I had to do research through microfiche. Some of y'all don't even know what that is. We literally had to go to the library if we wanted to get some information at a premium rate. Oh yeah, Anna Green know what time it is. We might be related, Anna Green. You got the same last name as me. That's my actual last name, right? So the Greenwich Meridian at the Thames River, you know, which was established in the year 1884 by the Europeans. You know, they called it the International Agreement, and they didn't include other nationalities before they came up with this terminology, right? And the meridians is something that's dealing with the middle. So they said that this was the middle of the earth. Like you got the middle of the clock from 12 to 6. You see that? And they said the Thames River is where they got the 0 point time reference, but they didn't go with the first. They started with a second. That automatically threw this off. Again, just in review for those that's just coming in here. 60 seconds is not this. This is 60 seconds right here. That's a spell. And then when you get on your clock, when you get to the 59th second, it start over at 0. So you got 6 seconds of time that's missing out of this man-made time by these Europeans out of Southeast London, right? At the Thames River. And that's not the meridian, Latin for the middle, merit, median, right? That's not the middle of the earth. That's not the true north and the true south, or the North Pole and the South Pole, which at the tip of the South Pole, they do have an ice wall, listen, around that hole that's in the top of the planet Earth that leads to the center of the earth. You hear me? And somebody put a video up on TikTok, and somebody actually drove their plane and was taking video of what's going on in that hole at the top of what you're referring to as the North Pole, right? That's right, El, Shambhala, and Agatha. And it's a whole bunch of extraterrestrials in their crafts going back and forth. They popping in and out of this dimension. And then the camera started getting distorted. Somebody uploaded that to TikTok. Right there, it automatically debunked the mythos, for one, that the earth was flat. For two, the ice wall. Right? Because they put that wasn't an ice wall. They just froze the water. And then on certain parts, it got green marshland in there. You can literally see the skid marks from the crafts, the rockets that come out of that hole in the North Pole. And nobody can thoroughly explain how that hole get there. Only one person on the planet did that. And that was my Supreme Grandmaster teacher. Right? Only being that did that. So I hope you guys got that. You got all of that? I want to go on to the next point. I want to make sure that people got this. So you're operating on a synthetic timeline. It's been synthesized from the sun. And they moved it from the sun and changed it over to the moon. That's why I asked how many hours is in a day. And they tell you that it's 24 hours in a day, but that's based on the moon. These are moon-based beings. Moon, which came out to Earth, equal lunar, right? Which equals a circle, two-dimensional, because it doesn't spin on an axis because it doesn't have one. A circle is synonymous with a cipher. And you see lunar and cipher come together. That's Lu cipher. It's a compound word. You call it Lucifer. You see that? Lunar came from a group of beings that served under a being named Luna, who later became Kingu, who was a Sumerian demigod who slept with his mother, who was called Tiamat. And what you see today in society amongst our people, a lot of women have non-sexual relationships with their sons. I'm just bringing a relevancy to it. And then they start treating their sons like that's their girlfriend. Tell me I'm lying. He don't need no daddy. He got me. Said I left you a message. Okay, all right. I get to it when we come off the live, beloved. I get to you when we come off the live. But that's Kingu, the lunatic that stays on the moon, right? The Luciferian of the lunatics. How many people in here work in EMS or work in the hospital, in the medical industry? What always happen on the full moon? That's when you got your most busiest time, is it not? Real busy during that full moon. You ever notice that? Huh? Because people are in alignment with the moon, which does not emit its own light. The only reason you can see the moon is because of the sun. The sun is the reason why you can see the moon. You said the patients act crazy. Yeah, because they on the moon frequency. They're not on the solar frequency. That's why I tell you guys every day. And we'll go through the alchemy of it again. I give you guys a little piece of it. Especially for my people that stay in warmer climates. When you go outside in the morning, put your feet in the grass. Some of you stay in climates that's too cold. I do not advocate for you to go put your feet in cold ground. You're going to get a cold when you do that. But put your feet on the grass. Pull your head back. Hold your hands up to the sun. and start inhaling the sunlight. You follow? Inhale the sunlight. What's going to start happening is that photonic energy is going to get up into your head and it's going to start decalcifying the glands in your head, not just your pineal gland. There's a lot of these people in the so-called conscious community. They always say, oh, the pineal gland, the pineal gland. That ain't the only gland in your head. You got a litany of glands that's in your head, and all of them begin to become decalcified, right? And what begins to happen is the neural activity in the brow chakra, which they call that the neocortex, it begins to become overstimulated. And that chakra, which is a Sanskrit word that means spinning ball of light energy, it begins to create a vortex. And your mind's eye is extricated from that portal. And your mind's eye is an antenna that allows you to pick up on your higher senses called ESP, extra sensory perception. And most people think that they only have 5 senses. And we always show you this through the eye of Hiru, right? Y'all remember all of that? See that? You got the sense of taste. This represents the nose. Fucking on. This represents, hold up. This represents the ear. This represents the nose. This represents touch. And the eye represents seeing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 senses, right? Then you got the 6th sense, which is thinking, right? You actually got 6 senses, which was really 2 senses because your 5 senses are just 1 sense. Sound waves have to touch your ear. Light has to touch the retina in your eyes, right? Something has to touch your taste bud in order for you to taste it. And you got nerve follicles in your nose that allow you to smell. You follow? That's all 1 sense, and that's touch. The 6th sense is thinking, right? You have the ability to think. That's your 6th sense. Now, are you using right thinking or wrong thinking? That will determine how you're capable of reasoning. Right? And most people don't know how to reason with their own being. This ain't got nothing to do with something outside of you. You've been conditioned that way by lunatics, by the Luciferians. That's right, Honor Green, right-mindedness. Meaning that you already innately know what the right thing to do. Nobody should have to teach you right and wrong. It automatically starts to, you got a genetic time clock inside of you that goes off. And if it don't goes off, you're off. You hear me? You're off. So when you inhale that sunlight, the photosynthesis from the sunlight starts to touch the brow chakra, right? Let me take some of this down because I need some space. We ain't got to worry about Lucifer. We ain't giving him no damn, we ain't giving him no energy. This is the brow chakra. These are the binary glands. And this is the pineal. I showed this the other day, a little bit smaller, but I'm going to show it to y'all a little bit larger. Binary. Forgive my spelling if it's wrong. Spell, we're not dealing with spells. And this is the pituitary gland. Let's just make that a nose. Right? Make that a little nose. Just to show, conceptualize what I'm showing you guys here. This is how the light bounces off the ethmoid bone in your brain. And it creates what's called the tetrahedron in your brain, right? This is what allows that light creates this tetrahedron, right? Which is a third dimensional shape. It has 4 sides. You can't see the hidden side, right? That's in the pineal gland. But here in the pituitary gland, I'm going to just write that right here. When it becomes overstimulated with sunlight, when you're breathing it through your nose, right? You looking up and you breathing in that sunlight and you got your hands out, you taking in the energy of Sekhmet. Why do you say they're taking in the energy of Sekhmet? Who know who Sekhmet is? Who is the father of Sekhmet? Go ahead, tech community. You could tell them if somebody don't know the answer. You tell them who the father of Sekhmet. Said the sun will heal you, right? That's right, Shamari Ray. Ray is the father of Sekhmet. Sekhmet is number 26. She's the 26th Neteru. Sekhmet. Right? And she is the daughter of Ray. You got 13 veins and 13 arteries in your body. So you got veins and arteries that go into your hands. You got veins and arteries that go up into your nose center, into the bridge of your nose, where you got a cavity there. So when you lift your nose back and you start inhaling that sunlight through your nostrils, the first place it hits is the pituitary gland. And it sends a light up the backside, which you can't see because it's hidden, the flat side of this tetrahedron. It touches the pineal gland and then it bounces off the binary glands as well. And it stimulates it to the point that it opens up and the mind's eye comes out of that. And once the mind eye comes out, it's like an antenna. Remember how the cars used to have the antenna pop out when you turn it on, the antenna pop up and it start picking up on transmissions and you start turning the radio. You know what I mean? This is what's going on with you when you stimulate the pituitary gland. They're always telling you about the pineal gland, but they never telling you about I get so sick of these ultra woke ass niggas talk, the pineal. Like, nigga, do some research. You got more than just that gland in your head. Stop telling, everybody know the pineal gland by this point and still don't know what the damn pineal gland do. Right? I'm not saying everybody. Y'all know if it don't apply, let it fly, goddamn. Right? But the pineal gland is where your memory is housed. How you process your memory is in the pineal gland. You follow? Now your binary glands, binary, that means 2. That's what allows you to distinguish between the left and the right eyes, which overlap one another in order for you to see things with your peripheral vision. It distinguishes between the peripheral vision and the mind's eye, right? Where it has a higher degree of discernment because these eyes operate on a lens that sits on a 23-degree curvature, right? Your eyes sit on a 23-degree curvature in order for you to perceive this reality without seeing the molecules and the atoms and the cells and the particles, and you could just see it in a pixelated state, which they say about 528 pixels is what your eyes are able to perceive, right? It's actually 528 hexagons that you call pixels. That's a whole nother story in itself. We had to do that in the 1089 tech space for Team Tech. But outside of that, when the pineal gland becomes open, or when the third eye comes out the pituitary gland, and it's picking up on transmissions from the oversoul. And your oversoul, the feet of the oversoul is in the ninth chakra. A lot of people don't know about the ninth chakra. They think they only got 7. But if you're a 9 ether being, you actually function on 9 chakra points. The one that's over your head, that's called the sky chakra. Then let me pull up my little diagram here. I can show it to you guys. You can zoom that in a little bit. Maybe I can zoom it in for you. Let me see. See how far I can zoom it in, right? You got the one here. See that? That's over the head. That represents Nut. The crown chakra, which amethyst helps to stimulate and activate that particular gland in the pineal, called amethyst. That's lorded over by Haru, who wears the crown because he is heir to the throne. You follow? And he sits in his mother lap, who sits on the throne, who is Osset. Many of you know her as Isis. You see that? That's in the brow chakra, right there. Then you got the throat. That's Tahuti. It's how you're able to communicate from the higher mind. Then you got the Melekite, which represents Het Hiru, the higher form of Sekhmet, who represents the solar plexus, which is the seat of the subconscious mind. And then you have the carnelian of Anubu, who is the first son of Asaru, sits there in the sacral. The red jasper, which is right there in the root. And then you got the feet. Yeah, I got all these crystals in the staff that I hit people with. You're absolutely correct. That's Geb. That's in the feet. So those are the 9 chakra points. Now above that 9th chakra is the oversoul. And between the ninth chakra and the 13th chakra, your oversoul operates, or your divine higher self operates. And it's picking up on transmissions that are being emitted from the galactical core of your galaxy. And when it picks up those transmissions, if that antenna is popping out, it starts to relay those transmissions into your brow chakra. And it sends it through the pineal gland to be stored into the memory. So you can process the memory of what the oversoul has collected. And that goes down into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, which is right here in the bosom. This is really where you begin to process information, because when you're gestating in your mother's womb and she starts to generate, listen, she starts to generate a new sexual organ that you call the placenta. Women do not have a placenta until they become pregnant. You follow? That's a whole new sexual organ. Ask any doctor. They'll tell you, right? And so that umbilical cord, thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. Y'all tap that screen for me. Tap the screen if y'all feeling what I'm saying. Tap the screen for me so more people can see this. They didn't already restricted my live. They say I'm giving out misinformation. Right? He said, you are the doctor. You damn right. But that's neither here nor there. So they tell you that you process information through your brain. No, the first place that you receive information is through your navel. You follow? Not your brain. Your brain, you don't get to start using your brain until that mind's eye come out, and then your brain start processing information. Other than that, you first start processing information through your navel. That's why you always, when your intuition kicks in, you have a gut feeling, right? You're like, yo, I got this gut feeling. Something not right about this girl. I shouldn't be hollering at her, right? Right? And so you be like, oh shit, I don't know. I shouldn't be hollering with this girl. You get her home, you know what I mean? Or you get her to the room or whatever, and she take her pants off, and all of a sudden it smell like expired salmon. And you be like, oh shit, I'll be back. Like, what happened? I left my phone in the car and you don't return. You're like, damn, I done paid for this room, this stinking ass bitch. I had a feeling in my gut. Something told me. I thought it was the Whataburger I ate, but it wasn't a Whataburger. That was your intuition telling you, like, hey, don't mess with this girl. Right? Yeah, he said, I done did that before. Yeah. You know, you get that little feeling in your stomach. You know what I'm saying? You be perusing through a neighborhood you ain't never been to before, and then you see this shady ass gas station. And you get this little bubbling ass feeling in your stomach, like, yo, don't pull in that gas station. What you do? Don't listen to your first mind. The first mind is the seat of the intuition. Your intuition is telling you. The intuition is connected to the psychic center, which is in the pituitary gland, and your oversoul is relaying the message to your ass. It's sending it to your solar plexus and letting you know, like, hey man, don't stop at this gas station, man. And what you do, you don't even listen to it. Like, ah, shit, I ain't no hoe. And you stop there. And all of a sudden, some little nigga roll up on the bike with a stick and break your window and tell you to get out the car. You like, ah, shit, something told me not to stop. I should have listened to my first mind. But instead of listening to our first mind, we'll second guess it. You second guess your own intuition. And that don't never work out good for you. You like, God damn it, I should have listened to my first mind. How many times that didn't happen? That happened when you got that girl up in that room and it smelled like Moby Dick up in that motherfucker. You're like, oh my God, Jordan Fisherman up in this bitch. I gotta make it, ain't nothing more funny than the truth. I'm just trying to make it relevant, right? Like, I should have listened to my first mind. I second guessed myself and I regret it. I didn't goddamn pay for that room. You went down there to the front desk, like, God damn it, hey, can I get my money back? They was like, hell no. I told you, no refund, my friend. It's, little Patel sitting up there, little Habibi. Oh no, I told you, my friend, you get the room, you do not take. I did not tell you, but I see girl all this week. You think you'd have put your back down. Habibi that probably then cracked her about 3 or 4 times. Like, hey, you coming here too much. This is not prostitution. I don't go for that. And he seen your ass, and he was like, hey, my friend, no refund, no refund. He was like, damn, Habibi, give me my money back. Nah, man, no. I don't know what you do in that room, my friend. You come back very fast. I don't know. Sorry. Checkout is 11 o'clock, my friend. And you left her ass up in there and took off. But you didn't listen to your first mind. You listened to your second mind, which is connected to your ego, right? Which is connected to your physical heart. And that's where the evil one whispers to your physical heart. Your intuition is connected to your spiritual heart. And it's going to always give you the divine truth. The physical heart has the ability to pick up on a lie. That's why a lot of people get duped in love. You know what I mean? and you got rose-colored glasses on. You notice they use the word rose color? They're talking about the red jasper that's right there in the root chakra. You're thinking with your little head and not your big head. You know, the root represents red. You see that? All of this stuff be put out right before us, but we get so distracted and detracted by the Dajjal and this social engineering program, and it conditions us to be distracted and to not pay attention to the first mind. We listen to the second mind of the ego, right? Let me see if it'll come back in some more. Nope. Pull this back just a bit there. Excuse me for being a little excited, you guys. I done had too much moringa today, right? And we're going to get back to these 13 veins and arteries, but this is all just keeping it in its appropriate context. Then you got the third. After you second guess, you start the third guess, which is equal to uncertainty. Start operating in uncertainty, right? You uncertain. You done got past second guessing. You like, shit, I didn't second guess. I don't know. Then you go to the fourth, start fourth guessing, and now you start doubting yourself. That's what happened when you be like, I should have, when you just disregard the first mind and the ego was like, shit, I was wrong. And now every move you make after that, instead of just atoning with the spiritual heart, you start operating in uncertainty. Then you start to become doubtful. Now your consciousness begins to drop, and now you start to lose self-esteem. And then you get to the fifth degree, you fifth guessing. Once you start fifth guessing, now you become unconscious of your own incompetence. Meaning you're not even aware that you have deficits that need to be addressed within your own psyche, because this shit is full of calcification. It's been calcified. You know what I mean? You're not getting enough sunlight. You ever bought a plant and didn't give it no sunlight? What happens to that plant? It begins to wither and die. I don't care. You done poured all type of water in it, like it won't grow. I wonder why it's not growing. You didn't give it no damn sunlight. That's why it's not growing. The grass, you give it sun, it's going to grow. The trees, it gets sunlight, it's going to grow. The wheat in the fields, it gets sunlight, it's going to grow. The apple tree, the oranges and the lemon trees and the bananas, when that sunlight touch it, it's going to grow. You hear me? So imagine what happens when you inhale the sunlight. Imagine what it's doing to your consciousness. It's expanding it. Your binary glands and your pituitary glands become strengthened. And now you really listening to your first mind. So much so you start to trust the higher mind. Right? Start to trust it. Like, damn, why you go this way? I don't know. I just, my intuition, I had a gut feeling that I need to be going this way instead of going that way. All of a sudden you turn on the radio and they be like, it was just a bad accident 2 minutes ago on getting on the 75 going north. If you getting on at the, let me think of a good street. If you're getting on, right here at Georgia State in the 20, for those that's in Atlanta, and it told you you didn't get on right there. You hear me? You said, you know what? I ain't gonna get on the 75. I'm gonna go this way and go on the 20 and go up. Like, no, man, but get on this. No, we're gonna just stay on the 20. Don't get off right here. Just keep going. We'll go around 285. That's the long way. I don't know. Something just told me to go this way. And luckily you did, because now it's a gridlock of traffic. An accident didn't happen. You know, niggas that have been shooting on the exit ramp. People that got shot all up in their car, and now the shit in all traffic jam. Right? And I'm just making a hypothetical TikTok. I am not spewing misinformation for your chatbot, your AI chatbot. Right? I'm just giving an example. But you listen to that gut feeling. You start to trust it. So what that the ego can't understand the degree of trust that you had, because it can't function beyond the physical limitation. However, you can. And like I tell a lot of you, you are not your body and you are not your mind. These are utilities that you utilize in order to interface in this reality, right? And your physical mind seats itself, not in your head, in your heart. You follow? And after you leave out your body, you get dispatched. He said, question, when intuition turned off. Yeah, when your intuition turned off, you start operating in what we call an unconscious competence. You know, something that we share in the community, talking about, let me turn my own back on. Talking about the conscious context, putting conscious in context. I like to put everything in its appropriate context so that people don't go down the path of conjecture, because that's what keeps people locked out of their own intuition, right? That's what keeps people locked out of their intuition. It's taking things out of context. Hold up a second. I'm going to pull it up here. Okay, there it is. And unconscious incompetence. At this level, individuals don't realize what they don't know. They don't even realize what they don't know. They may even deny. They may even deny the importance of understanding certain things. They deny the importance of even knowing shit. Like, man, I don't need to know that. All I need is Jesus. You know, I don't have to have. I put it in God's hands. See how far that gets you. Shouts out to my man, Delai on Instagram, and it showed the pastor sitting down with the lions. He was like, Daniel was in the mouth of the lion. He tried to lay on the stage with the lion. He actually bought some lions out. That motherfucking lion got close to his ass. He was like, trainer. Like, nigga, what happened to God? I thought you said you leave it in God's hand. You ain't afraid of the lion. That lion just burned a little bit. That nigga was like, oh, shit. So that's unconscious incompetence. When you operating with unconscious incompetence, y'all got to check that video. You're going to laugh for about 10 minutes after you watch it. But unconscious incompetence at this level, individuals don't realize what they don't know. They may even deny the importance of understanding certain things, right? Like you would tell somebody, you know, it's important to fast. You don't have to eat 3 meals in a day. You really only need 1. What you mean you only need 1? I ain't listening to that. Why you say I need 1? You can break it down to the very last compound, you know, and it's very difficult to reach somebody who's hell-bent on misunderstanding you. You might as well just walk away from their ass. They have an unconscious incompetence. They're operating on the 5th tier away from their own intuition. So they have an unconscious incompetence. You begin to become consciously incompetent, not unconsciously incompetent, but consciously incompetent. This is when people become what they call awakened, because here people recognize their lack of knowledge. They become aware of their deficits and they seek to address them as well. Like, man, shit, man, I'm kind of fucked up. I'm starting to get a little bit of titties and shit. I'm getting the extra chin and shit, man. I gotta put this damn bacon down, man. You know, enough of these damn bacon cheeseburgers and shit. I can't even run no more. You know what I mean? I'll be wheezing and breathing hard and shit. You know what I mean? I gotta get my life together. Then you see one of your homies from high school, that nigga smack you on the ass because that's what he used to do when y'all played basketball. What's up, homie? God damn, my nigga, what happened to you? What you mean, dog? Nigga, you putting on a little bit of weight, man. Shit, man. You know, that be the what we call in the community a SIM. And that's an acronym for sign, the indicator, and the message that's outside of you. And it comes in the form of a person a lot of times. And you look at that nigga, you know what I mean? His face all gleaming and shit. He still look the same way he did in the 10th grade. You know what I mean? His posture all right. And you like, damn, I've been slipping. Like, hey, dog, what you been doing, man? Shit, you looking good, brother. No pause or nothing. You looking real good. Damn. Oh, man, you know, I just be in the gym. I be eating right. You know what I'm saying? I've been vegan for the last 12 years and shit. I be working out and shit. I be in the gym. Damn, for real? Like, yeah, man. Here, take my number, dog. I be doing training and shit. I'll help you out. They be like, all right, bet. That's called conscious incompetence, meaning that you become aware of your deficits. And not only do you become aware of them, you seek to address them. Then you run across somebody else and they may have a degree of opulence going on and shit going in the right direction. And you thinking that this nigga selling drugs or something. And he like, no, I don't do none of that, man. I used to, man. But, you know, I did a little stint in jail. And I came out, I learned how to do stock trades and all of this shit, man. And then I got on off on the real estate. Here, dog, take my card and shit. I can show you what's going on. And then you get in alignment with that brother and you put yourself together as well, right? That takes conscious incompetence. You recognize that you lack knowledge about certain things and you're going to become aware of your own deficits and seek to address them. Next level of consciousness in context is conscious competence. See, now you done addressed your deficits. And individuals at this level are actively working on acquiring new skills on knowledge that they already have. They looking to get more knowledge. You follow? In certain areas. Just so you could be a better person. Just so you can have access to your own internal gifts that are hidden inside of you, laying dormant. You hear me? Then you got the fourth tier. And all of this keep you in the range of your own intuition. So you start listening to your first mind. And that's a content of consciousness. Now you got a full content of consciousness to operate from. And this deals with what you're aware of, your environment, and yourself. You hear me? So you know about everything that's going on in your environment. I remember the Supreme Grand Master Teacher used to tell us, hey, you need to know who your sheriff is. You need to know the deputy. You need to know the judges. You need to know how many courts in the area that you live in. You follow? You need to know who's the circuit judge, who's the alderman, who's, you know, which district that you belong to. You need to know all these things. This gives you a content of consciousness, right? You might get pulled over by a deputy or something. You're like, yo, man, I voted for you. I voted for you in November. Like, damn, for real? Like, yeah, man, I liked your issue when you was talking about this and that. Like, oh, really? What's your name? You tell them your name and shit. Like, you know what? I'm going to let you go this time, man. You know, thank you for supporting me, man. You know, we doing something. We having a town hall meeting on this day. You need to come on by. That's called conscious competence. Okay, Chosen. Now I see you, love. I'm over here doing what I'm doing by Thizzle, baby. I got you. And remember this about consciousness. It's both functional and subjectable for reasoning and planning. And, you know, it's like climbing a mountain and gaining a new perspective as you evolve. You know what I'm saying? So you might look at things one way. Like a lot of people be stuck on pigmentation. And they make that mean everything in the damn world. Some people be stuck on their gender. And they make that mean everything. But as you start to expand and rise in consciousness, you see that those things don't have the same degree of validity that it once had. You know, I burst a whole bunch of people bubble when they start talking all that I'm a God talk and I'm a goddess talk. Don't tell me that you a God if you cannot make the meter on the gas in your vehicle go from empty to full just by waving your finger. If you can't do that, don't tell me that you God. You know what I'm saying? If you can't unlock a car and you done lock the keys in the car and you just can't open the door, don't tell me about you being God or goddess. Don't say that. You are a human being. You hear me? Let's stay in reality. A lot of people like to go into fantasy because that's what these demiurges have influenced people to do through these lunatics that work for Kingu. Right? We be a little bit too deranged in the ego, operating from the physical heart and trying to validate ourselves through that. Yeah. That's right, I agree. We on a lunatic frequency, man. A lot of people be real, they be lunatics. I am God. Like, no, you not, nigga. Your name is Charles Charles Lee Ray, motherfucker. You live at 1714 Vanderbilt Street, motherfucker. You was not God. You know what I mean? Say that shit when the police come lock your ass up. Show me how much you got. Show me how much of a God you is then. You know what I'm saying? You ain't create shit. You had that little nappy-headed ass nigga that can't stay out the juvenile hall. That's not God. You know what I mean? Who am I? Who am I? What's going on, loved one? The stuff be taken out of context. And some people can articulate it well, but you opening yourself up to people that's not in order they order the circuitries in their brain ain't clicking on all cylinders, and they really start delusionally thinking that they are actual God. You not a fucking God. You signed up to be a human. And same thing with people talking that 5-dimensional shit. And it's like, yo, man, you didn't sign up for the 5th dimension. You follow? You didn't sign up for the 5th dimension. I've been great, loved one. I've been great. You didn't sign up for the 5th dimension. You signed up for the 3rd dimension. That's why you came through your daddy figuratively and literally. You seen what was going on in this dimension, and you were already somewhere where you didn't have arms, legs, a head, a phallus, or vaginal if you were a female, if you ended up becoming a female, right? You came from a place where none of that stuff existed. And you had to incarnate into a cell, right, in order to acquire these things. So you wanted to be human. Out of all of those cells, out of 777,777,777 sperm cells, your ass made it here. You wanted to be here. I get sick of people saying, oh, I didn't ask to be here. Yes, you did. Cut the crap. You wanted to be here. Nobody asked you to be here. Shit was popping before you came here already. It was already going down before you got here. And then once you got here, you like, man, what the hell did I sign up for? You forgot, you got amnesia. Because you knew exactly who you was the whole time that you was in your mother's arms, being swaddled, right? While she was swaddling you and feeding you on the breast, you knew exactly who you were. And your consciousness, it started off about the size of a tennis ball, and it started to expand. And as it started to expand, you started to absorb all of the information out of the atmosphere. You follow? You started to absorb all of that into your subconscious mind, in the gut. You follow? You was absorbing all of that information into your gut. And by the time you got 4 or 5 years old, and you was able to identify the persona that your mother and father gave you, because 1/3 of you came from your mother, and 1/3 of you came from your father, and then there's 1/3 of you that's not your mother or your father. That's actually you. And that aspect of you was what was expanding consciously. But by the time you started school, You started to see Brad come to school with his G.I. Joe. And you said, I wanted you, where did you get that from? Oh man, I got it from Toys R Us. I want one of those. Mommy, I want a G.I. Joe too. Why? Because Brad has one. I want one too. Or we'll wait till your birthday. What's a birthday? You know, that's when we celebrate the day that you was born. Oh, I can't wait for that day. Not, that's when you begin to get indoctrinated. Right? You start wanting to be indoctrinated. Right? And this is what it talk about in the Holy Tablet. Shouts out to the Wapic Light, my beloved brother. It start talking about that in that Holy Tablet. Tablet 15 of the Behemoth, called the Beast. Right? Tablet 15, around the 331st verse, where you become flattered by what the Dajjal has to offer. Whether you know it or not, you being infatuated by it. And many of us, if it's past our birthday, your parents say, because they've been conditioned too. Just because they're your mom and daddy don't mean they haven't been conditioned. And they say, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Charlie. We're going to get it for you for Christmas. They don't say that they're going to get it for you. They say Santa, which is a subtle way of saying Satan. Satan is going to get it for you for Christmas. Don't you worry about that. We're going to get you a G.I. Joe. And we're going to get you Snake Eyes. And we're going to get you Cobra. Right? We're going to get you Duke and Lady J. You're going to have all of their ass. You're getting all excited, but you got to be good now. You hear me? And the second that you buy into that consciousness that was expanding, now it begins to contract. I'm just saying in general, Honor Green. I'm just in general, right? Rather you black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. This is the program I'm talking about. Now that it starts to contract, it's your birthday, and you sitting there, you blow that candle out, you go through that particular, through that ritual, and you blow out that birthday candle, and now your consciousness keeps contracting. And you start buying into the school system, which school, the Hebrew word shul, right? Because you send your children to where? Grammar school. People don't know that the word grammar comes from the word grimoire. And grimoire is a book of dark, evil spells. For the brother that was asking earlier, how do we get under a spell? Right? This is how they send it. You get institutionalized. You get indoctrinated into the dark, evil spells of hell. And you no longer become your mother and father's child. You get transmutated into a kid. And what is a kid but a baby goat? Now you become a baby goat of Pan. And Pan plays that metal flute that's made out of nickel, right? Saint Nick, Nickelodeon, right? Okay, I see you, Jay Bizzle. You blow the flute, and now your child has become a kid, a baby goat, being indoctrinated into the dark, evil spells of hell, and starts living in the image of the beast. I see the little children at the elementary school with blonde hair in their head. Hair nappy as a motherfucker. You done turned it blonde. I'm like, yo, man, why you turn your hair that color? Oh, because I think it's cool. But you know that your hair not really blonde. Oh, yeah, I know that. I had to dye it. I got to dye it every other day just to try to keep it. You got to dye your hair? Listen to that spell. You're dyeing your hair. So I literally got to dye my hair. I got to dye my ether coils so I could look like something that don't look like me because I don't like the way that I look. You're being indoctrinated to hate yourself. And your parents will encourage it if they've been conditioned to hate themselves. These are things that need to be addressed and talked about. This is more important than the reckoning of P. Diddy. This is more important than whatever Donald Trump has to say. These things still have not been addressed, right? But they need to be highlighted and accented. Exactly. Our hair is our antennas, but we taught to hate ourselves. And I tell the sister, stop putting that weave in your head. Stop putting that wig in your head. Because I know some Hindus. I know the ones from India. I know the ones from Pakistan, right? I know them. And they women cut their hair out and sell it to you. They also grow the hair. They grow their pubic hair. Like at the same rate that they can grow their hair. They do it in South America too. And they cut that hair off and they sew it at the end and they wrap it up. Y'all call it yaki and all that other shit. And you put it in your hair. Why you think that hair smells so bad? No, come on, brothers. Y'all know y'all done had a sister with some weave in the head and had one of them, them sew-ins and all that. That shit stink. It don't smell good. And if you got that shit sewed into your head, it ain't coming right out. Y'all need to see that movie. I got to say that every time I come on here. It's called Bad Hair. Go check that movie out. It's old now with Usher Raymond and Kelly Rowland. And it shows how the second that they start sewing that stuff into your head, it takes over your persona, right? It takes over your persona. The sister start acting brand new. Start acting brand new the second she get that shit sewn. And I'm not saying that to pick on y'all. It's just an observation, man. Just giving a clear observation here. You hear me? You're giving a clear observation of what happens. You act real brand new. You be really smelling yourself, but you ain't smelling that nasty ass weave in your head and knowing where that shit coming from. I seen it. You know, I had an opportunity to make money off the weed. But I said, you know what? When he showed me the girl, he was like, I have to show you this. Shouts out to my man. I ain't gonna say his name. I don't want to blow up his spot. When he showed me the girl combing out the bush league between her thighs, and she was combing that shit out, and it was long, and she was wrapping it up and still combing it, and then she took the big ass shears and clipped it. He was like, we'll never run out of hair, my brother. I have over 60, he said, we got over 60,000 pounds of weave. And they was charging me one price. And he had people that stayed here in America that would package it once it got over here. And we was going to come up with our own brand. And I couldn't do it. Because I was like, man, can't we let the women know that? He was like, no, my friend. I'm sorry. If you're going to do business with me, we cannot let people know this because then we'll lose business. So I had to step away from that. Yeah, they use pubic hair as hair. Look it up. They probably you'll find it on the internet. You'll be mystified. You see how long that shit. That's why I be stinking like that. I just got to tell the truth, ladies. I got to tell y'all the truth. And see, a lot of y'all get that stuff in your head. It ain't like you could wash it. Y'all don't even want to get it wet. Oh, don't get my hair wet. Like you the Wicked Witch of the East or some shit. Or the Wicked Witch of the West. You know what I mean? You don't want to get in the swimming pool. Oh, I can't get my hair wet. Because when that shit come out the water, you can really smell where that shit came from. You can smell what the rock is cooking. Right? But this what makes us receptive to this crap is being under a spell. And we don't question or scrutinize the things that's put before us. Or we disregard the divinity of our own intuition. We don't trust the higher mind when it's telling you, hey, you look beautiful enough. You don't need that. And that's why a lot of brothers, and I'm just keeping the 10K with a lot of you sis, because I'm putting you up on game. That's why a brother have post-nut clarity. They call that PNC. Brother get that PNC. He wake up in the morning, he can smell that shit in your head like, God damn. Like, I don't know if I could wake up every morning to this shit. I might hear her one more time, maybe. I'm good on that. Start looking for a sister with some locks in her head. You know what I mean? That ain't ashamed of her hair and is comfortable in her own skin. You feel me? He said, in my hair. But this is what's going on. I would be remiss not to tell some of you ladies this. Because these older sisters not telling you that. I don't care, because a lot of them, they didn't align themselves with the Dajjal. They're not trying to tell you nothing that you need. They're not giving you no wisdom. They're not. They want to see you tripped up and even tripped up worse than they got tripped up. Because they trying to compete with you. And they're not putting you up on appropriate game. They not. And now you done turned into the league of prostitutes. I'm just keeping it. I'm just coming out their own mouth. A lot of women saying that, hey, it's transactional. You know, they going to Dubai and getting the number one and the number two done on them, right? They call it the porta potty party. I'm just telling, hey, I didn't make this shit up. It was already out there. I'm just highlighting and accenting it. Because this stuff not being talked about. Y'all just trying to gloss past it and find something else to distract you and detract you. We're not playing them games no more. Nope. Sorry, ma'am. Gotta let it be known. That shit stink. And they not telling you where that nasty ass weave you put in your head. And the energy that's attracted to it. He said, I call it doo-doo. Stop selling your soul. Stop selling your soul. I got to read it out the holy tablets. I got to read it out the holy tablets. I'm going to start from, let's go back. 322, the human beast in the holy tablets. El Gadush Lohat. That's Nawapic for the holy tablets. See that? Tablet 15, the 322nd verse. Right? That's where I'm going to start from. There will be a Dajjal in Europe, cursed, possessing the evil spirit of Azazel. Curse him. Devil. Curse him. Satan. Shaitan. Curse him again. And Lucifer. Curse him. This is called the Dajjal. Began his retakeover in the lunar logging in the year 1966 of the Gregorian calendar. Right? Since then, he has been growing in numbers and power. His voice will be heard all over the world. This is not the physical voice of the Dajjal, but the voice of radio and television. Today, it is called the Internet, an international network for communication and control. And now recently, Telstar, which can be heard directly from one end of the world to the other. His followers die not easily, too strong. But the stronger the faith of the faithful ones, the sooner he and his numbers will not be. They will discover earthly treasures, comfort, or luxury. This is why our servant, Ahmed, Mustafa El-Amin Muhammad, may peace be upon him, Hua, said that the brightness of the left eye, love of life, and luxury is to divert man from the straight path and take him to hell. It is recorded that our servant, Ahmed, said, some will unseeingly accept his flatteries out of ignorance. I'm going to say that one more time. Some will unseeingly, meaning that they don't even see that they accept his flatteries out of ignorance, comma, and some, comma, they say, comma, for the sake of their survival. Like the dude from the P. Diddy documentary. See, yeah, I knew it was devilishment, man, but I had to eat. Like, really, nigga? I woke up the next morning and my butt was kind of sore. But I was just thinking about all the stuff that he promised me. Nigga, you sold your soul. You a big boy. You know how to lead rice to your mouth? Didn't nobody do nothing to you. Right? You knew exactly what you was doing now. 334. If you are a true Muslim, which means one of peace, striving to return to the bosom of the Creator. Oh, excuse me, I missed a verse. Excuse me. The Dajjal has you believing that if you do not put your trust in the devil's system and follow his lifestyle, you will not be able to buy or sell those things which are considered valuable in his society. It's called sanctioning. If you are a true Muslim, striving to return to the bosom of the Creator, then this is the most valuable thing to you. So the most valuable thing to you should be trusting in your higher mind, which is a direct gift that you receive from the Most High, right? So that should be the only thing that you should strive and prioritize, strive for and prioritize, is returning to the bosom of your own Creator. You should not be striving and prioritizing the flatteries of the Dajjal. Because the devil can't be the devil if he don't deceive you. That's what the devil do. He sets out to deceive you. The undying need for material things will decrease in your life. The evil one provides for those who sell their souls to him. Whereas Eliun Eliun El, Hua, the Most High, provides for those who are true to him. Only the faithful, listen, only the faithful will be able to see the evils and falsehoods of the Dajjal. He will have the whole world deceived, except for the elite. Only they will know who he, the Dajjal, is. And this is why they go out of their way to restrict my life and tell people that I'm spreading misinformation. Because I could see that wicked motherfucker. And I'm going to point his ass out every time. And I'm going to show you how to point his ass out. I'm going to show you how to start operating from your first mind and stop second guessing yourself and third guessing yourself and fourth guessing yourself and being deaf, dumb, and blind, and operating in the unconscious incompetence. And again, at this level, individuals don't realize what they don't know. They may even deny the importance of understanding certain things. And that's when they come and get your ass. And you wake up like the little Rod or whatever his name is. And I ain't going to repeat that crap. I ain't trying to promote that shit. They're not paying me to tell y'all that. Right? That you got to prioritize. And like I was telling you guys earlier, you got to spend every day of your life preparing for the afterlife. Because you will be weighed, your words and your actions will be weighed in your heart. But will they be weighed in your physical heart or your spiritual heart? Which one? The choice is yours. Those that serve the Dajjal, it has to, they operating from the physical heart. And they second guessing the spiritual heart, which is connected to your intuition. You follow? So they put that little weave in their head and they start acting brand new. They start acting like they shit don't stink. But that damn weave stink. And I ain't saying that to pick on you weave wearing women. Some of y'all didn't know. I ain't gonna act like all of y'all knew, but somebody got to say it. And for the people from the community, you know my favorite saying. Do not say that you have not been told. I'll say that one more time. Do not say that you have not been told when that great and dreadful day of the Lord, Tahuti, Thoth, appears before you. And that race spin the block on your ass. Because you accepted the Dajjal. You accepted his flatteries and his luxuries. And you prioritize them over putting your consciousness on a trajectory for returning back to the bosom of Eliun Eliun El, our fashioner and sustainer and appointed anointed caretaker. And as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, may peace be upon him and the ancestors be with him. He once said, you don't have to condemn a dirty glass. You sit it next to a clean glass and it'll condemn itself. And that's what's going on out here. And a lot of you are being duped and tricked. And now they got a whole bunch of sassy brothers out there. Got a bunch of sassy brothers. One of them sassy brothers was trending. You know, may the ancestors be with him. He just lost his life. One of them dudes in Florida. I don't know his name. They call him Lady something. And they buried him in a pink Versace robe and had a little... That dude look as mannish as mannish can be. And he got rid of... I don't know how they made him look like a woman like that, but... And I bet not dare say nothing of this for entertainment purposes. I got to say all of this. But I can say nigger, 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 nigger with impunity. Like Dave Chappelle said. But I bet not say the F word. I bet not say the F word. But I can condemn the shit out of my brothers. I can smear the shit out of their ass. I can make you lowly as everything. But I bet not say nothing about these delusional ass androgynous beings. Wanna be. They not androgynous. You really about that life, you cut your Swanson off then. Cut that Swanson off and show. You know what happened to people that do that? Psychologically, they crumble. Because you done threw off the root of your endocrine system. You done threw it off. So your whole chakra system is thrown off. And that's why when you look at that flag, listen, it's the chakra system upside down. So now you're not even receiving the signal from the higher mind that's coming from the oversoul, that's receiving the transmissions, that's coming through the galactical core of your galaxy, right? From the Most High. You ain't even, your ego then block that out. And you operating on an unconscious incompetence. And now you start calling yourself a pronoun. Most, I don't know what generation Z, X, Alpha, whatever the fuck they call it. I'm a he, him, there. I'm a pronoun. No, you're a human. Let's keep it in this appropriate context. You're not a pronoun. As we reach our ascension, the Dajjal is propagating descension. And people are descending. They're regressing. You hear me? They're regressing. And here in Texas, 40% of the teachers, I want to say in northern Texas, have quit their job. They didn't gave up. Little white children, black children, and Mexican children in the first and second grade going to school with a diaper on. How the hell y'all sending children to school with a diaper at that age? I'll tell you why. Because the parent is trying to raise their child with their cell phone in their hand. And then a lot of these children got cell phones. A lot of them gonna get them on December 25th and tablets and all this other shit. And your brain still ain't finished developing yet. And any pediatrician that follows their Hippocratic oath has to tell that parent, hey, don't let that child be on these devices. Their brain, the frontal lobe cortex is still maturing. The neural activity hasn't developed in the neocortex yet. They shouldn't have that cell phone. And now these little children don't know how to read or write. They text, they just hit the microphone and speak. And I know it because my son used to do it when he was 3 years old. And I didn't give him no tablet. I said, you could sit at the desktop. And he used to be in the Hot Wheels. This little motherfucker was smart. I didn't show him how to do that shit. He knew how to bypass the password and go on to YouTube. And I'm like, damn, how you keep pulling up all these Hot Wheel videos? I told you. I'm like, hey. He's like, Daddy, turn on the Hot Wheels. I said, okay, give me a minute, son. Let me use the bathroom. Let me get up first. I come downstairs. He already on the desktop sitting there. And one day I called him. He touched the little mic and said, Hot Wheels. That shit popped up and he pressed enter. 3 years old. But by the time they get to the 3rd grade, they don't know how to spell. So they'll just touch the microphone and say what they mean. And when you read the text back, you would text them back and they don't even know what the hell it said. They don't have a response mechanism for a person to text back and transliterate and say the words for you. I think they got that available now, but the technology dumbing them down and they stop using their sixth sense, which is the ability to think. They're not thinking. Now you're no longer processing information and storing it in the pineal gland and your subconscious mind. So when you're on the internet online and you're playing Roblox or whatever the fuck it's called, you in the 3rd grade and you playing Roblox or Robux, whatever, I don't know the name of it. And it's a 25-year-old man, a 30-year-old man on the other end of that line interfacing with your child that you just gave him this little gaming console because you don't feel like raising this little motherfucker. He's being serenaded through the thing by some 30-year-old freakazoid that shouldn't be playing a video game. I remember one time I heard this shit, grown-ass man talking to my son through the thing. I heard him. I was like, whoa, hold the fuck on, man. What the fuck are you doing? I'm playing robot. Like, nigga, you not, how old is you? I'm 24. Like, would you come over here right now and play Robux with my son in front of my fucking face? That would not be appropriate. And it's not appropriate. And get the fuck off this phone while I pull your IP address and pull up on your monkey ass and whoop you and your mama ass and bury y'all in that fucking backyard. That motherfucker hurried up and got up off that bitch. I don't play that type of goofy shit. And it's a whole bunch of motherfuckers out there that think that that shit is okay and that, it's just a game. It's a game until your child come up missing. Don't say that you have not been told. This is the stuff that we need to be talking about. Not the felonious stories in your damn, in your so-called holy books. Right? People arguing and debating back and forth. Man, I've been debunked all that shit. When you say the word God, you got to give it up to John Wycliffe. You know what I mean? The Eastern European that was from the Czech Republic. He came up with the concept of God and gave it a general meaning and definition. Because when you look up the word El, when you look up the word Elohim, when you look up the word Yahweh, right? Adonai and all, it's not definitive about what those words mean. You hear me? These are Romanian concepts. And when you look at the word Romania or Roman, right? That's Rowan the man. When they put the And what it add a suffix on the word roman, you get romance. You hear me? And after romance, you get romania, meaning that you romantically, maniacally exhibiting behavior between two men. And this is for educational purposes only, TikTok. I am not castigating. I am not you know, I'm not spewing hate. I'm just showing the context of these words, which are spells, which is a part of the grimoire that people have accepted. Following behind the Dajjal due to the Dajjal's flattery. Because it makes what is evil to seem fair. And what is fair is made to seem as it's evil. And that's the way that these beings are operating. And somebody has to point it out to the layman and commoner out here that have accepted it. They're laughing at you when y'all rushing into these. How many flat screens do you fucking need? You might as well open up a Buffalo Wild Wings. You might as well. How many flat screens do you need? How many tablets do you need? How many cell phones do you need? How many? Y'all put these big ass onesies on and look like some goddamn fools. And the cabal sitting there laughing at your ass. Like, oh, look at the Guanyum. They'll disrespect you right in your face. Y'all don't even know what's going on over there in Israel right now. They got, thank you, Beth. They got golden nooses. You know, the parliament over there, they got golden nooses on their lapels. And they plan on hanging all of the so-called black people that's over there. And they came on their own little networks and said that shit. You hear me? Y'all better wake up. Anybody got any questions? Any questions? I'm going to take a few questions. I'm going to get on off here. Come on, baby boy. Come on, Gary. You want to go outside? Go ahead, buddy. Y'all want to go outside? I mean, I'm talking about my cat. Any more questions? Any questions? All right. Y'all need to follow my page. Make sure that you hit the notification bell. Go to my page and check out my uploads. We almost at 2 million views at this point. With the shadow ban, I'm still almost at 2 million views. That might not be a lot to some people. Oh, that's L's Holy Tablets, right? L's Holy Tablets. You can go to www.nawapianfacts.com and attempt to download a copy of this. It might crash your computer. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's this book. Transmutated by the reformer, the Supreme Grand Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi Zadok. Yes, you're welcome, beloved. You know, these books are going for sale online. I'm almost sure it's past $2,000 at this point. I'm almost certain of that, right? I was fortunate enough to learn at the feet of the Supreme Grand Master Teacher, right? May he be freed from the claws of the Dajjal and his minions. But y'all go to my page and check out the uploads. Well over 1,000 videos uploaded. I always take these lives and I take all of the highlights from these lives and I re-upload them. I still got about 3 or 4 days worth of uploads to upload. And if you subscribe, shouts out to my subscribers. I do reserve the most potent portions of it on for my subscribers. So shouts out to my subscribers and come join our growing community. Come join the community and get access to even more data. I don't have to worry about restrictions. I don't have to filter what I have to say because I can really divulge some shit. I can't even really go in like I want to on here. I got to hold back just so I can come on here again because a lot of you be like, ah, shit, I just wait till he come on TikTok. Y'all like the Dijon. I'm telling you. See how many classes we did this week? What's this, Saturday? I done had about 6 uploads from the class, and all those classes at least 4 hours long. I go in every day. Just somebody in the comments was like, hey, man, where you been? Like, shit, man. I've been with the community. You know what I'm saying? Every day. And we got an event coming up in March. Y'all want to prepare for it. March 6, 7, and 8. Get your shekels together right now. Get them together. Get your affairs in order so you can get hit with the Baruti staff. And I could bring your chakras into a line and get them spinning in the right direction and clear all the blockages throughout the ley lines and the meridians within the body, right? So that your etheric, the light ether can start flowing through your body once more. Because you got obstructions and it got some of your chakras spinning in the wrong direction. Come get hit with the Baruti staff and open up the portals in your consciousness so you can start operating on an intuitive and clairvoyant frequency. Once more, accessing your supreme higher self in this great day and time called Noontide Ray. I've been your beloved brother, Dr. Ray of Noontide Ray Tech, master OrgoniteTEK builder, teacher of Raynology, wielder of primordial energy. We're going to see you on the next live, hopefully tomorrow. All right? Peace and love. May the ancestors be with you. Wadu.